I think it's time for another data miner kata.
Hello and welcome to another Bringing the Thunder. That's right, I hear the rumbling. I think we have another data miner kata, another nice exercise waiting to happen, and with a brand new guest. I always love getting new guests and a brand new topic as well. Who are you, my new guest, and what do you do here at Skyline?
I'm Michiel van Tenen. I've been working here for a while, and I do mainly quality assurance on Data Miner Cube.
Right.
Testing, checking everything's lined out, the workflows are okay, and trying to crash, burn, and break it.
Yeah, okay, crash, burn, break it, and then get people to fix it. Amazing.
Yes.
That is indeed the cycle that we want to continue. And is the topic of today something related to that? Or are you bringing us something?
Not at all.
Oh, not at all. Excellent.
Today we're going to create a workflow that is related to Spectrum Analyzer. A while back you did something with Joachim on Spectrum Analyzer.
I remember.
And
Yes.
also with Toon on Visio, and
Yes.
we're going to mash them up, mix them a bit, and
cool.
make something hopefully nice.
Right, so we're mashing up a Spectrum, which will link the other episode somewhere over here or down there, whatever marketing feels like, and then the Visio one as well, but we're mashing those together. So if I remember a little bit about those, so the Spectrum Analyzer, meaning we are analyzing the frequencies and everything of a signal.
Yes.
And we have a UI for that that's baked into the data miner, but we also have a way of making Visio drawings, which then have a nice UI or a layout to visualize elements and stuff like that. So
Yes.
I'm interested to see what happens there. So people can follow along with this. It's an exercise, it's hands-on. Awesome, you can follow along. We'll probably have a link as well to the written form of this somewhere again. And other than that, is there any prerequisite before we begin?
Well, you need a data miner.
We need a data miner, of course.
You need Data Miner Cube.
Yes.
And you need a Visio desktop installation, so that's an extra requirement for this exercise.
And do we need any packages to install at the beginning, something to deploy?
What I did is install the Spectrum simulation demo and the generic dummy. So those are two connectors you can find on the catalog.
Okay. So
no
we can find those
real
on the catalog
special
and
packages
deploy
needed.
them.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm very interested. So shall we dig in?
Okay.
Okay.
So first short demo of what we will be making. So the idea is that we have some kind of cable operator who is receiving some channel over our satellite, then it's growing to some kind of processing stack, receivers, amplifiers, decoders, I don't know what.
Right.
And then it's sending it out to cable, could also be terrestrial network, whatever.
Okay.
So sending it in a different form to the customers.
Right. So an entire, from the beginning of the feed all the way to the end.
Yes.
Satellites, terrestrial, all of that. Okay.
And so, of course, we want to monitor our input and output signal.
Yes.
And that's basically what we'll do here. So we have our satellite signal. We can push a button and it switches over to our cable, our output, and then we have all of our settings here, so different frequency connecting to a different measurement point.
All right.
And so on and so on. And of course, this demo is simple input output, but you could do it for different physical locations.
Yeah.
So
this
go
is,
crazy.
This is already the Visio that we're looking at, pretty much.
Yes.
So we're done, everyone. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'll just show you how to create this.
Excellent. So the end result, always nice to know what we are working towards. Okay.
Okay, so first thing is I'll create a new Visio, set as active Visio. So right click on the existing standard Visio, create a new blank.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
Good. Okay, so creating a new Visio, this is on the view or on the element?
It's on a view, but
On
you
the
could
view.
do it on anything you like, view element, surface.
Cool.
Okay, so right click and go to edit in Visio. So we have our default Visio here,
Yes.
which is showing already the view name. I'll leave that in place. And the background, I'll just select and delete. All right, and then I'll insert just a very basic rectangle. On this rectangle, we will go to the shape data.
Yes, because if I remember the visual one before, it's usually with the shape data that you then define links to elements or other things.
Indeed. So it's showing this in a small pop-up. I like it docked at the bottom.
Okay.
It's easier to work with. So maybe make it a bit bigger. Okay, so I select my shape. I right-click in the shape data area, define shape data, and today we will be using something special called a component.
Okay.
Type it right. Okay. And then value of it will be simply our the spectrum. So this I already created the element. This is the spectrum simulation.
Right. So we already have again from the other kata, so an element using the spectrum analyzer in the background to then actually give us that UI here.
Okay. So
are we going to want to link it to the element ID?
Yes, I'll just element ID or element name. I'll just go to rename and copy it to save myself some work.
Yes, of course.
So our element is a spectrum element, or a component, sorry, and then of course we also need our element. Ooh. Where did that one go?
I think we clicked enter by mistake.
Yes.
So
Okay.
spectrum and element.
Element. Okay. Paste it here.
Perfect.
Okay, and spectrum, maybe you know, is kind of special because the spectrum parameter is always, as a fixed number, is always 46,001. Okay. Getting a bit technical here, but that means Visio or the cube will know automatically which parameter to get. So we have a number of different components. You have them for trending, for routing. There you need to
you need to say which parameter ID.
Yes, indeed. For spectrum, it's not needed. Just spectrum element name.
Because it knows in the background. It's always the same identifier.
Okay,
for
I'll
spectrum.
just save this.
So the first step you did was you link it to a shape data. You say this component is valued as a spectrum.
Yes.
To say this is a spectrum, and that way it also knows the parameter ID internally. And then you linked it to you said which element ID it's supposed to be? Or
yes.
Name?
Element name or ID you can choose.
And now if you indeed go to the view that we created the Visio for and open up the visual overview of it, I can see we already have pretty much the view we had on the element.
Yeah, indeed. It's pretty much the same as the full spectrum control you get on the element.
Right.
Only the ribbon is removed because typically that's for more advanced settings. Configurations. So we don't want that in our visual overview.
Yeah, this is more monitoring. You really want to just view and showcase. Okay.
So here we still have our traces. We can maybe remove this, and this here, this sidebar, I'll also remove it, but in order to remove it, I will need to use a preset. So let's go and create that.
Because I was going to ask, indeed, you can probably edit. So this is the default. You get it.
There's
but you have probably a lot of
different
options.
component options. I'll show a few during the demo.
Cool.
If you want to know more, go to the docs, read them all.
Yeah, so everything is indeed documented on our documentation to do with Spectrum, and Visio will probably find all of the possible options in there as well.
Yes.
So we'll have a look at a few of them to now tweak this view.
So now I've moved on to my actual spectrum element.
All right, so we're on the element now.
And then I'll just go to the view and remove the info pane. What I'll also do is set my, so I'm going to create a preset. What I'm already going to do is set my frequency in the range that I want. So for my cable side, this is around 200 megahertz and, 200 megahertz on the center frequency, and we're going to use 20 megahertz for the frequency span.
Right, that's setting the window of what frequencies we are interested in and looking at.
So setting these, okay, it's saved. I'll go to presets. I'll manage, create a new shared preset. And I'll call this one cable, because this is for cable side.
All right, so from the original visual we saw before beginning, that's the right side where we swapped it to, say, terrestrial or cable, so that's the cable signal. Okay.
So we'll share it with other users so they can see it in the visual. If we make it private, it's not much use here. Okay, and I'll save it. And then I'll go back to my visual. So I have my component. We have a third shape data we need, and that's really logical component options.
Right, and that will then hold any options. Or...
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then just go preset cable.
All right, so component options, so a lot of options in there that we can do. I can see you've written preset cable, and that's the preset we just made. So that preset had like a window, I think we said, of frequencies, and also some UI thing?
Yes, so the preset is basically everything you do within the Spectrum UI. So it saves all of the technical settings like center frequency, frequency span.
But also the visual stuff.
Also all of the visual. So if you change colors, if you change sizes, all of that is also saved in the preset.
Oh, that makes it easy. So we don't need to fiddle around too much with the... We probably can, but fiddle around too much with the visual layout. We can use the editor within the Spectrum element itself.
Yes, indeed.
Change everything,
save it as presets, and
then
you're
link,
good to go.
And then link it. Okay. So we've linked that preset cable.
Okay, I'll just save it here.
And have a look at the result.
Okay, switch back to my view, and then we see that the sidebar is gone.
Yes.
So it's now applying that preset. Of course, we've done our cable. We also want our high frequency from the satellite.
Yes.
So let's go and create a second preset for that.
All right. It's on the same element?
It's on the same element, so we're just going to create an extra preset. I'll go back to manual. On the satellite side, we have higher frequencies, so we're typically around 12 gigahertz.
Okay.
And then our bandwidth is also typically a bit bigger. Let's say 800 megahertz or something. All right. And then we see our settings are applied here. So again, we'll save it as a preset.
And then that one's probably
shared.
satellite or...
Yeah, we'll call that one satellite.
Cool.
Okay. Again, share it so we can use it inside the visual overview.
All right. So it needs to be marked as a shared with other users, otherwise the visual won't be able to...
It will be able to work when you open it yourself, but other users won't be able to see this.
Okay.
So typically you want everyone in the company, or at least the people working with it, to be able to see it.
Unless you're very selfish, you just want it for yourself. But yeah, usually the visual you'll want to, especially if it's on a view or something. Yeah,
indeed. Okay, so that's that. And now
Probably on the Visio we'll
go
want to...
back to our Visio. I'll just resize it a bit here.
Yeah, because now we need to make that toggle button thing,
Yes,
right?
we need buttons. So again, adding buttons is really simple. Create a rectangle. I'll just create 2, or yeah, maybe I'll just first create the first one, add the data, and then we can copy
Alright,
it
'cause if
and
you
just
yeah.
make a few little changes.
That makes sense. If you copy the shape, you'll have the shape data as well. So
Yes.
okay, so we'll make a single button first, define the shape data for that
Yeah.
to indicate what it has to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and for this we'll be using something called session variables.
Okay.
Visio.
Yes.
So session variable is basically something you define in Visio and lives in data miner cube memory.
Right.
You close down data miner cube, it's gone.
Right. It's
So it's
literally a variable that is alive during your session.
Yes,
A
indeed.
session variable makes sense.
Okay, so what we could do is create a shape called setVar.
Okay.
So setting the variable, and then in the value we give it a name. So
Okay.
I'm going to use var preset, using the var prefix here just to make sure
That
I know it's a variable.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so the value will be cable.
Okay.
So
Okay.
nice and easy.
So var preset the name and then
Is the
space.
name, then it's a column.
Oh, it's a column.
Yes.
I'm
column,
sorry, I'm
and-
blind. Yes, it's a column.
And then
okay.
the value. So
Right,
in this
okay.
case, cable. Okay, and yeah, we want to know what we're doing, so I'm going to give it a text.
Yeah, so a
say,
label or a text.
Switch to cable.
Okay, and we'll gonna
Yeah.
copy paste that, I'm guessing.
Yes. Okay. Copy paste that. Do the same, and here we're going to switch to
Satellite.
satellite. So switch to sat.
We're getting closer
also
and
can-
closer to
Yes, indeed.
the end goal.
Okay. Satellite.
That's also with a colon in between there.
Yeah,
Yes.
and did a typo here, I think.
Satellite, yeah.
Yep, right. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so we have our 2 buttons that will set a variable.
Okay.
Of course, this one is still fixed to cable.
Now you can, instead of a fixed
Yes.
variable, you can probably say now, well, instead of a fixed value, you can probably say now the variable
Yes,
name.
and to link it to the variable, we're gonna use some brackets, so square brackets, and then inside that we will use var colon var preset.
All right.
So this one is case sensitive because it's the name of the variable we've
Okay.
used.
So,
Okay.
okay, so it's square brackets, we're saying it's kind of like a dynamic link, and then we're saying
Yes.
it's linked to a variable colon again, or
Yeah.
var preset. Okay, cool.
Okay. Let's save this one.
So see the magic. You know, a lot of people, when we do these kind of katas, they've got this one moment where I have to do like a drum roll because, oh, it's gonna happen. But with you, it's been drum rolls all the way. You're changing, you're saving, you're changing, you're saving.
Yeah, it's quite a few steps for this one.
No, it's cool. It's like an iterative process. Eh? It's every time you do a little something, and then we check if everything is working. That's actually
Save.
the best way of going forward with these things. Eh?
Yeah. Okay, so we have our 2 buttons.
Excellent.
Okay. Switch. Oh, we're already on set. So switch to cable. Hope this is working.
Is Murphy rearing its head just after I was talking about the drum roll bit? Okay.
Looks like it. Okay.
Well, let's take a double check on what we did, maybe.
Okay.
Switch to cable, switch to... At least the buttons are on there, so we know it's saved correctly.
Yes.
So maybe we had a typo in one of our variables.
No. I missed something here.
Okay.
I told you before we've created public presets.
Yes, yeah.
We also need to tell Visio we're using public presets. forget about that one. So
Okay.
what we're going to do here is not just use the name, but use the name and then space and between round brackets public.
Okay, and what's the default one is then I'm gonna guess a private.
Yes,
right? And
indeed.
what does that entail then? Do you know
That's
what?
only the user who created it can view it.
Okay, right. But somehow when then looking at the view, it's not considering that as a valid. Okay.
Yeah.
So we need a public one. So just a space behind that and then a bracket public. Okay.
Yes.
And I guess for sat then the same
Yes.
public. Okay.
Okay.
So now, and do we need to adjust something on the component to say that it's...
No, so this one is using the variable. So here we're pushing a different value into the variable
Right.
and it's reading that variable.
That one doesn't care
So,
public, private.
yeah.
Okay,
No.
cool.
Okay, let's save and take
See,
a
but
look.
because we are doing it in an iterative way, we immediately found
Yeah.
where the problem is. If you had made a huge video in one go and then saved it once, good luck,
Yeah,
good luck
but then
finding
you have to
yes.
look at all
Look
of
at
the
everything.
shapes and
So-
try to find out
Yeah, the iterative way here.
where the
Okay,
issue is.
so let's see if that did the trick or if we missed something else. So I'm guessing we should be seeing the settings change.
Yes.
Is there anything other visual that can identify if it works or not? Just the settings probably.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's go back into our visual, and so our variables we can also visualize them.
Okay.
So I'll just create a copy of the shape again.
And that way we can see
I'm
if
going to
the buttons themselves.
yeah. So delete it, and we can just again between brackets.
Because we're dynamically linking to
yes.
something. Okay. So square brackets.
Square brackets again. For colon for reset. Close brackets, and that should show our value.
All right. So I can then have a
Save this one. So it's setting it correctly. It's cable public, and it's switching to satellite.
okay
So I must have made a mistake on the spectrum shape.
on the component
on
itself.
the component. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So let's double check there.
part of the iterative development process. So
Yes.
let's take a closer look. So the switch
yeah.
to cable, switch to SAT, and the var preset.
This needs to be an equals sign.
Okay. Syntax.
Syntax.
Okay. And that kind of syntax is found in the documentation.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
On the view, it's on set.
All right. And we
Switch to cable. Give it a couple of seconds. Okay.
Right.
It's
Yeah, I
changed
saw
to
the change
preset.
there indeed.
And then if we switch back to set,
And
it's
switches
going.
back to
It
satellite.
switches back to set. So yeah,
Okay.
just to clean that up, we can remove this
Yeah.
one again.
And then make the little image and all
yes,
of that. But
yes.
that's not really spectrum oriented. So
No.
the core here that you've shown us is like, you can make a setting, a preset,
Yes.
and then assign or change that preset based on a session variable within a Visio, and then change the UI, which is a component of type spectrum.
Yes. Indeed.
Right about
That's
that.
it.
Cool, awesome. Is there anything really important you still wanted to show, or should we tell them to take a screenshot of that?
Yeah, or maybe one of the cable, one of the sets, so
Yeah.
that we can see that the switching is actually working.
Yeah, sure,
And yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, for everyone watching and following along, feel free to take a screenshot of what you have created here. If you want to be a little more fancy with your buttons and Visio, go for it. Always happy to see things interesting like that. But most importantly, the ability to link to a spectrum analyzer element and play around with the presets and all of that. So you'll get some nice DevOps points if you bring that and show it to us. Other than that, I would say thank you very much for making some time and actually showing all of this. It was an amazing merger of some topics we've seen before. Everyone watching from YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you always see when we upload a new video. Other than that, I guess I'll catch you all in the next one then. Good luck.